That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. I just watched the greatest moment in Oscar history, apparently, and it had nothing to do with movies. So, did you watch the Oscars last night? No. No, you didn't, because nobody watches the Oscars anymore. But I guarantee you probably heard about it on the radio, on TV. Everybody's talking about Will Smith walking up on stage and slapping Chris Rock across the face. And I have so many mixed feelings on this. So many mixed feelings. First of all, it's Will Smith, one of the most charismatic actors of our time. He's that guy that you like. He's that buddy. He's that success story. You like his movies. You like his demeanor. He's cool. He's Will Smith, everybody. When you say, hey, cool guy, Will Smith is one of those people that really pop up into your mind. What he did is probably gonna haunt him for a while now, and I had, so like I said, I have mixed feelings on this. I'm a person who thinks we take things too seriously all the time. All the time. You cannot have a discussion anymore. You cannot just have an argument anymore. You're either right or you're wrong. There's no in between. You're wrong because you don't believe what I say, and I'm right because I don't believe what you know, that kind of mentality where I'm right and you're wrong and everyone thinks that way. And we've gone into humor now, where jokes are now, comedians are being canceled because of stuff they said 20 years ago and 15 years ago, and it's just, I don't believe in that, because things change in society, things change in the way we look at things. Things you could do back in the 1960s, you cannot say nowadays. But should we go back, and find a 90-year-old comedian and start saying, you should never have said those things back then? And you get my point. But it's also jokes. And yes, jokes can be offensive. Jokes can be above, stretch that limit. But that's the comedian's job, right? The comedian's job out there is to stretch the boundaries sometime to get reactions, to see what's funny. Sometimes a joke lands, sometimes a joke doesn't land. It's a joke. And Chris Rock last night made a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, starring in G.I. Jane 2. G.I. Jane, the movie starring Demi Moore, where she shaved her head to get into the military special forces. And so Jada Pinkett Smith has shaved her head. Beautiful, beautiful woman, by the way. Both her and Demi Moore. Shave your head all you want, ladies. You're looking good. But she also suffers from a disease that women get, that you lose your head. Maybe men get it too. I'm not sure too much about it. Where you will lose your hair, patches of your hair. And that's why she shaves her head. And he made a joke saying, Jada, I love you. Can't wait to see you starring in G.I. Jane 2. And that was the joke. A 20-some-year-old movie reference because she had a bald head, shaved head. And Will Smith, at the time, you actually see it live, when you watch it live, laughed at the joke.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Jada Pinkett Smith did not laugh at the joke. Her face went from, mild amusement to dead serious. Everyone in the audience kind of went, oh, you know, and he goes, hey, that was a nice joke. That was a mild one. And it was. It was a mild joke. I have heard Ricky Gervais and comedians like that just go after stars in the audience, and this was nothing. This was as lightweight joke humor as you can probably get. But Will Smith saw his wife's reaction, took things into his own hand, walked up on stage. Chris Rock goes, oh, here comes the big guy. Here comes Mr. Smith. And he's kind of joking about it, doesn't know what he's going to do. And Will Smith outright leans back and slaps him full force. It was not a little like this. It was leaning back and full. Oh, wow. And Will Smith's not he starred in Ali, for God's sake. He's an action star. Chris Rock's a comedian. You know, two different style of bodies there. And he full out lays one across Chris Rock, and Chris Rock is stunned. And then it continues. Will Smith takes his seat and starts yelling back and swearing at Chris Rock to keep his wife's name out of his mouth with expletives. Keep your blank, etc. And Chris Rock turns, finally, not knowing where to go, finally goes, you just witnessed the greatest moment in television history. And then they went to commercial. Good night to do that, Will. Good night to choose to do that. Also, because moments later, Will Smith wins the Oscar for King James as for Best Actor. First one he's ever won. So, great night to choose to do that. And I'm so conflicted because I like Will Smith so much. And people are going to say, well, he's he came up, he knows how to make an apology, folks. And it probably was really, truly from the heart. But he came up and he started saying how King James was a protector of his family, and that's what I'm protecting my family, and love makes you do crazy things. And I guess so, Will, but I also remember you in an interview, so this is where I'm coming from also, because I do follow his career a lot. And he was interviewed, and he was asked about turning down the role for Django Unchained, where he said he wanted that story should be more about a love story and not a violent revenge story. And he thinks the world has too much violence, and you should never react with violence. You should always reason and work towards better things and not react violently. So you turn down the role for that, but in reality, you reacted to violence. Because he was in the front row. He could have just sat there and yelled at Chris Rock immediately instead of getting up and resorting to violence. Now, is there a history between the Smiths and Rock? Maybe. Maybe there's a history there. Did Chris Rock even know that Will Smith's wife suffers from the hair loss? Did he even know that? And was just making a comment like all comedians do on the stars. I mean, have you ever watched Ricky Gervais host an Oscars or a performance of anything? He is mercilessly, and it makes it for one of the most entertaining shows there is. But here's the thing now. What do you do? If you're the Oscars, what do you do? Do you punish the #1 star who just won your Oscar for Best Actor of the Year? Do you now sanction him from returning to the Oscars? Do you try and sweep it under the rug? Because remember, the Oscars are all about stars and their social messaging, right? It's all about the messaging and the social justice stuff. Well, are they now condoning violence? Is the question, right? Now, picture this wasn't Will Smith, who we love. We love Will Smith. We don't want to say anything bad about Will Smith because he's such a nice guy. What if this was Mel Gibson or Christian Bale? Actors who have been somewhat out and ostracized in the media in the past. What if it was them who did that? I think we wouldn't be having this conversation of, oh, what do we do? Oh, I feel sorry for Will. Because let's face it, you should never assault somebody for words. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I've been in comedy shows where a comedian has picked me out of the audience and made fun of me on the stage in front of everybody in the show. From now on, does that, if he hurts my feelings or he hurts my date's feelings, does that give me the right to walk up on stage and smack him in the face? No, but because it's Will Smith and he talked about his family and protecting his wife and she has this thing. Now we're talking about, was it justified? Violence is not justified. Violence is never justified, right? You know, words can hurt, yes, but that doesn't give you the right to take a baseball bat to somebody. So no, I'm so mixed. I'm so over this that I wish it never happened. And it should never, ever have happened. But if you're the Academy Awards, what do? I think you have to sanction Will Smith. I think you have to say, because they came out and said, we never condone violence. But they didn't do anything. They haven't done anything yet to Will Smith. And Chris Rock, to his credit, reacted the best you possibly could. He was stunned. He was assaulted on stage in front of, probably 50 or 60 people watching from home. And he made another joke afterwards because that's what he does for a living. He's a comedian who tells jokes. And you might not like his joke, but that doesn't mean you have the right to go up and punch him in the face. And Will Smith crossed a line. As much as I love Will Smith, he crossed a line. He could have handled it numerous ways. Like I said, he could have just stood up and said, stop talking about my wife. And that everyone would have cheered him on. You can understand that. Still probably not the place to do it, right? Live on TV. But live on TV and assaulting somebody? If Chris Rock wanted to be a jerk, he could lay assault charges. And he would win. Because he did get assaulted live on TV.